This is part 2 of our bike tour around the North Coast 500. Part 1 covered Inverness to Shieldaig. This part covers the next few days from Shieldaig to Ullapool. So it was a big day yesterday. We tackled Bar and rode around the peninsula. We managed to find this wild camp just outside Shieldaig. And now we're just going to set off, heading towards Shieldaig and then Torridon. And we need to get to Ullapool by the end of the day tomorrow. Joe's bike had developed a mechanical issue in his rear hub. It was getting progressively worse, but we hoped to reach Ullapool where there was a bike shop.
So the mechanical on Joe's bike is just becoming more and more compounded. The likelihood of us reaching Ullapool without mechanical is quite slim. And also in Ullapool, we don't even know if they'll have the capability of repairing his rear wheel. So what he's doing, gonna get the train to Inverness in order to go to a bike repair shop to either repair the wheel or buy a new wheel altogether. Then tomorrow he's going to get the train sort of as close as he can to Ullapool, and then he's going to cycle and meet me in Ullapool. So hopefully he'll be able to do that tomorrow. So just have a couple of days on my own again, which is not the end of the world.
You bunch of babies.
Oh, you're having a good old scratch there, you? Nice. So today's cycle is from Poolewe to Ullapool. I have 75k to go until I arrive. I've just left Poolewe. I was scoping out the route last night and it looks like there's very few places to stock up on supplies. So I've had to buy a few things from the local shop before I left.
loads of baby goats in there. Can't see anyway, can you? Lots of baby goats. I am. Okay, I think we've caught our first glimpse of Ullapool in the distance. Yeah, so I ran out of water about 10 kilometers ago, so I can't hang around too much. Need to get there. Yeah, so after you left me in Shieldaig...
Were you interviewing me? I'll just tell you the story.
Alright, okay.
So the back wheel was playing up in Shieldaig, and it was I wasn't sure how long it was going to last. I thought it'd take me 20 miles to the station. I thought I'd make it and it'd be alright. But I only had like an hour and 20 to do it, and I was like... So I was absolutely gunning it, cycling as hard as I could over the pass to try and get back. And then I was on the descent, and my back wheel was just swaying across the road. So I was like, well, that doesn't feel very good. And I still had another 10 miles to go and a big hill to climb with a big descent on there. So I was like, I can't keep going. I've got to stop and try and get a lift. So I stopped, and then I was talking to you, and we realised there was a cafe about a mile down the road. So I went down there in the hope that there'd be someone in there, a camper van or someone that would take me or something. So I was like ordering, I got like a bacon butty, and then was just generally talking loudly about my predicament in the cafe in the hope that someone would be like, oh, we'll be able to help you out. But no fucking did. So then I sat out in the back and started talking to the tables around me, but they're all motorbikers.
So you were like that one drunk guy in the bar.
Yeah,
telling
it
everyone.
It wasn't a bar, it was a like swanky cafe with very soft, gentle jazz music.
Talking to anyone and everyone that would listen.
But all the people in there were bikers, and they were like, God, that sounds awful. Whoa, if only we had not bikes, we'd give you a hand. So then I was like, well, the only thing to it is I knew there was a train in 4 hours' time, and it was a 10-mile journey, and there was no other way to get there. I asked that there was no bus or anything. So I was like, well, I better walk then. So I started walking, and I thought, someone will stop. Someone, a minivan or something like that, they'll see that I'm walking this massive fucking bike. And it was hard work. But after 2 miles, I was passed by, must have been passed by 20 camper vans, all with empty bike racks in the back. I understand it because it's COVID, but still, I was just like, no one even stopped to see if I was alright. 2 guys doing Land's End to John at Groats came back the other way, and they were like, you're obviously struggling. What's going on? Can we help you? Because they had some kit. And I said, unless you can replace my wheel, then no. But thanks for stopping, and we had a little chat. And then I kept walking, And eventually I walked through that town. There was like a seafood shack, and then there was like this arts and crafts shop.
Right.
So I just thought, I walked past the seafood shack and I was like, oh, no. So then I went into this arts and crafts shop and just went, yeah, it was like very nice, and there was like incense and it was very calm, and I was like sweating, clearly having a shit time. And I was just like, this really nice lady sat at the desk, and I just said, look, I completely understand if you can't help me, it's COVID, but I'm just here on the off chance that, anyone who's just got a van who can give me a lift, can chuck me and my bike in the back, or a pickup truck, and drive me to the station 10 miles down the road, avoid me having to walk over the hill, because that's what I'm having to do. Having a pretty bad day. And she said, oh, and she said, oh, well, we've got a car, why don't you stick it in the car, or we can drive you there. And I was like, oh, like, obviously I was very grateful. And then she said, and then we sort of said, come round, see if it will fit in the car. And we had a look, and it looked like it would. And then she said, oh, Cheshire and Ross around the back as well. Actually, like, what time's your train? I said, oh, it's about 6 o'clock or something like that. She said, oh, why don't you just chill here for the afternoon and just relax, and we'll drive you up the station later. Come and have a cup of tea. And so I sat in this. So she pulled me around to the garden of the shop and their house, and I sat there, had a very nice, lovely cup of tea and a chat, and they'd offered me some food as well, but I'd just eaten that bacon butty, so I didn't need that. And they were just talking, just like really nice couple who just moved up from Bristol.
All right.
They're like setting up their life up in. They're setting up a framing business, making picture frames, artisan picture. And they're like really cool, impressive people. They've just moved from Bristol, where they've all lived their life, and they've moved to this tiny little house and they're just living in the middle of nowhere, like living the dream. I mean, they'd only been there 3 months, but so I was sat there for like 2 hours. We were just chatting and hanging out, and then they gave me a lift, and then we went to the pub for 2 hours, had a couple of pints, back in the same pub.
Yeah.
And the guy recognised me. He was like, "When you that guy that was with that singer?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "Why are you back here?" And then got on the train, went back. Missed the mechanic, but I spoke to him on the phone. He said he'd sort me out. That he said he had a wheel, so went to the mechanic this morning, 8:30 on the dot, and then left. Had to leave my bike in. Had to leave my wheel with him. They were so busy they didn't even have space for the bike.
Right.
He said so. I had to leave the wheel and then take my bike a mile away back to the hotel without a wheel. So I was like walking through Inverness, carrying my bike by the back because it had no back wheel. And that was it basically. And then I came back an hour later, and they sorted me out a prime like wheel, 50 quid. I was very happy, and then
That's not bad.
And then gambled on the good weather to do a long ride today. But there was a 30-mile route, and there was the longer one, but I didn't want to miss out. So anyway, that's the story. I'm going to eat my ribs now. Signing off.